Also, am I giving vampire? Because I'm so pale. Hi, my name is Maddie, and welcome back to my channel. If anyone mentions that my hair looks kind of weird, I'm aware. I'm in between dye jobs right now, and I don't want to hear it. Today, I'm going to be watching two movies, R.L. Stine's Monsterville, Cabinet of Souls, and Fun Size. As of filming this, I have not watched either yet, so I have no idea what to expect, because I've never seen either of these movies. I plan on doing a title that's somewhat like clickbaity, like watching a movie I was too scared to watch as a kid, and that really only applies to Monsterville because I saw commercials for it on Disney Channel and was too afraid to watch it when it came out. If you saw my last video of things I was afraid of when I was a kid, that should explain why. It's always kind of a shock to me that I never wanted to watch this movie considering it stars Dove Cameron. And as a kid, I loved Dove Cameron. I loved Liv and Maddie. I loved Descendants. I really, really liked Descendants, but that's a story for another day. I think this movie came out around that same era, and just based on the commercials, I knew I didn't want to watch it. Now, Fun Size, I don't think I've ever seen ever. I think I might have seen a commercial for it on Nickelodeon when it came out, but I'm not completely sure. All I know is that it stars Victoria Justice. The first one I'm going to be watching is Monsterville, Cabinet of Souls. I have a feeling since the cover is in like a carnival of sorts, it's going to be something like that Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot that Nickelodeon did back in like 2017, I think. Hi, I am back, and I finished the movie. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. The movie starts out with a scene of a girl running through the woods and turning into a goblin thing. When I saw this, I was certain it would either never come up again or be important at the very last minute of the movie. I was right about kind of one of those things. 1 year later, we meet Kellen, who is in love with Dove Cameron, and he has been for like ever. Her name is Beth, like from Little Women, and she has a friend named Nicole. Kellen also has this friend that beatboxes, and he also likes Nicole. I don't know his name, and he's kind of really not important, but he's just there a lot. They're all hanging out at their town's Halloween festival, and then they enter a very interesting dance sequence. Kellen and Beth, they dance for like a contest. I'm not sure why this was necessary. This is interrupted by a guy named Dr. Hysteria, which sounds like a Henry Danger villain, but I digress. There should be a bingo card for my YouTube channel. It'd be every time Maddie mentions Henry Danger should be the free space. He tells people to go to his Hall of Horrors like event thing on Halloween. I think it's a few days before Halloween as well that he has it open, but you get my point. He's with this girl named Lilith, and she is Gorgina. Kellen and Beth walk home because they're neighbors, and Kellen tries to tell Beth that he likes her, but he chickens out, as expected. I made a note that Dove Cameron is giving some Descendants acting in this scene. At school the next day, this guy named Hunter introduces himself to Beth, and he is literally the weirdest person ever. I hate him. If he looks familiar, he also plays Diggy on Liv and Maddie. This movie is full of people. But she's really nice, and she thinks he's cute. She invites him to go with their group to the Hall of Horrors that night. When they get to the Hall of Horrors, Lilith starts flirting with Kellen. There's a lot of liking happening in this movie. Kellen's really jealous that Beth is hanging out with Hunter, as you might imagine, and they kind of get into a little bit of fight about this. Somehow Beth gets separated from the group in the actual like hall, so she decides to go through this very suspicious looking door that is very evidently not part of the attraction. She ends up walking through the backstage area and gets chased by this vampire and presumably a zombie. They all get out eventually, and Kellen decides to go on a walk because he's a little baby. On his walk, Lilith comes up on her motorcycle and drives him home. I don't know how she knew where he was, that's not my business. When Beth gets home, she decides to research the Hall of Horrors, and she connects the disappearance of that girl from the very beginning that turned into a goblin to the Hall of Horrors. Do not ask me how she got to this conclusion. I have no clue, but now she's very suspicious of the whole operation. The next night at the Halloween festival, the main group kind of falls apart because Kellen doesn't want to go out and Beth is being Beth. So Dr. Hysteria gives a very miraculous Hawkmoth Monarch speech to Kellen's friend about how his friends don't appreciate him. You can imagine my surprise when he actually didn't turn into an akumatized villain at the end, for its time, I guess. He takes him into this room and shows him a vision of him telling jokes and people laughing, like, because he's funny. And somehow he gets hypnotized, and now he's like under the mind control of Dr. Hysteria. Dr. Hysteria targets Nicole next because she's also there, and believe it or not, she has a crush on Kellen. Everyone likes everyone in this movie. It's one big square, I swear. He does the same thing with her. I forget what her vision was. Meanwhile, Beth and Hunter are going through the back rooms and they find this big old cabinet called the Cabinet of Souls. They said the name of the movie. Oh my god. It's just like this big wardrobe looking thing. Beth opens it and sees a bunch of comatose people in there, except they're standing up, but you get my point. It pretty much looks like the gates of the underworld in there, and she decides to walk in. She's so silly. She's so silly. While she's in there, she finds out that all of the monster people that are working the attraction are actually real people's souls. Yeah. Dr. Hysteria kicks her out for being in there. So she decides to go to Kellen's house and talk to him, and they end up having a fight because they both are in love with each other. but they won't admit it. The next day at school, Kellen skips to go with Lilith to the hall, and while he's there, his friend at school turns into a clown. A sequence I did not appreciate. Nicole is also turning into a monster thing, so Beth decides to go to the police for help, because that's always worked. Also, she finds out that Dr. Hysteria is a demon that is eating these people's souls. I mean this so sincerely. I don't know how she found this information out. I know how I found out because they showed a scene of him eating someone's soul. It makes sense. She did not see that, so she's just using a lot of critical thinking, and I support her in that endeavor. With the police, she decides to go into the Hall of Horrors, and she makes a fool of herself because when she gets to the cabinet, it turns out to be fake. So now everyone thinks she's crazy. Meanwhile, Lilith takes Vision. If I could speak, this would be a perfect world. Imagine Lilith taking Vision, like from Marvel, to the room where the visions take place. Wow. It's incredible. I'm writing fanfiction over here. Lilith takes Kellen to the room where all the visions take place, and he sees a vision of him fighting Hunter for Beth. Sure, okay. Dove Cameron looks really incredible in this sequence, by the way. I just had to let you know, because I was gagged. Gorgina. After this, he turns into a beast sort of thing. It's kind of giving werewolf. That night, Beth goes back to the Hall of Horrors to find her friends, because she knows now that they're there, and they're part of the attraction. Somehow she finds her way into the theater room, and she sees a vision of her betraying her friends, and she's like, nah, man, that's not me. She also looks really good in this scene. Like in her little vision, oh my god, it's crazy. Hunter gets really upset about the fact that she decided to leave mid-vision. And wouldn't you believe it? He was evil, he was part of the attraction the whole time. Who guessed it? They made him weird on purpose. It's almost like they put him with the evil girl on the poster. Trying to find a way out, Beth runs into Monster Kellen, and she's like, no, Kellen, this isn't you. It's me. This surprisingly works, and then Kellen starts beating up Hunter. They're all attempting to escape, but then they all get trapped into the Cabinet of Souls. And Dr. Hysteria asks Beth to be part of the family with him and Lilith and Hunter. This is very Twilight coded. And also, like, her and Hunter, Loki had a thing. That's very weird. I should have mentioned it, but Lilith and Hunter, who are presumably brother and sister, maybe not by blood, but you get my point, they have some very weird underlying something going on. I'm not sure it was intended to be that way, but it comes across that way, for sure. So when I meant it's like a square, I truly meant a square. All things are connecting. She sprays them with holy water, which kind of came out of nowhere, but she just kind of says that she Googled it, which was kind of mentioned a little bit earlier in the film. So it's fine. But it kills them, and she helps everyone escape the Cabinet of Souls, including that girl from the beginning. She is no longer missing because she calls her parents. Finally, Kellen and Beth kiss, and that's the end. So what did we think? Personally, I thought it was pretty good. It's not a profound movie. The plot is strikingly similar to that of the reboot of Are You Afraid in the Dark in like 2017, but that came out way later, so someone else is to blame for that. One thing I was really annoyed by was that Beth is supposed to be the smart one, and she is, because she connects a lot of dots I wouldn't expect her to. But she makes a lot of really stupid decisions that I'm kind of shocked by. Obviously, if she didn't, the story would not move forward, and there would not be a movie. So I understand she has to, but you would think that she would be smarter about these things. Like going through a door, that's obviously not part of the attraction. Where do you think you're gonna end up? Or going through the literal Cabinet of Souls. It looks like hell in there. Why would you walk in there? I didn't mention it in the recap, but when she walks in, the door shuts behind her for like a split second, and then Hunter mysteriously disappears. I respect her investigative journalism. It's a bad idea. I'm very thankful I did not watch this when I was a kid, because the sequence of the guy turning into a clown would have absolutely scared the shit out of me. And I didn't even really like this time. That being said, I would probably add this movie to my yearly rewatch list of Halloween movies. I like movies that have like this sort of mystery aspect. I'm a very big fan of that, and I really like the way that they did this one. I apologize, the lighting just keeps getting worse as this goes on, but it was kind of my idea to film these after I watched the movies, so. Fun Size is a Nickelodeon movie, and that is very apparent. The beginning of this movie is narrated by Victoria Justice, who is named Ren, which is a name I found out existed today. We learned that her dad died like a year ago, and she has a very annoying little brother, whom she hates, because he's annoying. He also hasn't spoken in like a year. Her mom is now dating this guy named Kevin. I think the pronunciation of his name is supposed to be a joke. It's not a very good one, but it's there. Her mom is kind of like Chanel's mom from the Cheetah Girls. So this guy named Aaron Riley at their school, who's like really popular and super cool, and Ren's friend April is insistent that they will get into his party that he's throwing on Halloween. She has a lot of confidence, and Ren's like, no, we're not popular. How is that possible? Then Ren does this like rap and really weird dance in the middle of the road, and she nearly gets hit by Aaron Riley in his car.
I'm Theo Wilson, I'm a scientist. I study ants and stuff, if you get the gist. I'm about as cool as a guy can get.
Think Jason Bourne with a butterfly neck.
Realistically, if he did hit her, this movie wouldn't have happened, and I think that would have been for the better. Anyway, for some reason, he decides to invite her to his party after seeing all that. There's a lot of confusing things that happen in this movie because of these characters. I don't know what their motivations are, and they confuse me. He says that he's gonna sing a song for her at his party that he wrote. You cannot pay me any amount of money to be at an event where someone is claiming they wrote a song for me and they're gonna perform it to my face. I would literally pass away from embarrassment. Now she has to find a good costume in order to go to this costume party. She decides to be Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. On her way out, Ren's mom tells her that she actually has to watch her brother and take him trick-or-treating because her mom is going to some party with Kevin. I don't think I mentioned her brother's name. Her brother's name is Albert. I should have mentioned that earlier, but now you know. During trick-or-treating, Albert is causing a lot of mischief because he likes to pull pranks, and Ren is really upset that she has to miss Aaron Riley's party to watch her brother. She runs into her friend named Roosevelt. Yes, that is his name. There's a lot of interesting things in this movie. And he's a freak. He obviously has a crush on her, and so he tells her that he's so glad that she doesn't dress like a slut on Halloween, like all the other girls. Get out. No one likes you. He's with his friend who's dressed up as Aaron Burr. I don't remember his name, but he's there. He likes April. Ren loses Albert in a haunted house and can't find him anywhere, like on the street in the place. April helps her find him, and they run into Roosevelt again in this gas station. And Ren convinces him to let them use his car so that they can go drive around and look for him. Like mere moments before this, Albert was at the same gas station getting a slushie, and he was talking to this guy that works there. I forgot his name. He's actually kind of important in this movie, and I should know his name, but Albert gets kind of kidnapped by this guy. Albert agrees to go with him, but I mean, he's a child, so it's technically kidnapping. The gas station guy is trying to get revenge on this guy named Jurgen, who is now dating his ex-girlfriend, Laura. Oh my god. Is that our cat's eye? Sorry. And in the process of doing this, he accidentally sets someone's apartment on fire. Albert decides to take the car and drive to his favorite chicken place. He's like 7, I think. How is he driving a car? I don't know. At the same time, Ren has the bright idea, and she's like, oh my god, maybe he's at that chicken place that he loves so much. But when they arrive, there's a lot of chaos happening, and Albert gets kidnapped by this woman. Once again, he agrees to go, but it's technically kidnapping, and she takes him to a party. While he's there, he gets his candy stolen by Jurgen, so Albert decides to hide in his car and follow him home so he can set a firework on his porch to get revenge. This kind of backfires though, and then he like actually for real gets kidnapped by Jurgen, and he's like taking him hostage in his house. Still before that, the group is at that chicken place, and they get into a tussle with these dudes, and Aaron Burr guy shoots some guy's chicken. Also, the car gets like kind of totaled, but it's still working. During all of this, April does sneak off to Aaron's party, and they eventually meet up with her, and Aaron sings his song to Ren, and it's really bad, as expected. And in this moment, Ren realizes indirectly that she likes Roosevelt. Why? He actually left during the song because he's a baby and he can't do anything. So now Ren doesn't have a ride. Right after that, she gets a call from Jurgen, and he's like, yo, I have your baby brother. He's gonna stay here unless you come get him and have a bunch of, because she's out of a car, she has to run there, and she doesn't have the money. So when she gets there, he decides to call the cops. That guy from the gas station comes in very last minute and throws fireworks inside Jurgen's house, giving Ren just enough time to escape with Albert. On their way home, they go to their father's grave at the cemetery, and they have a really nice bonding moment. It's very sweet, and I definitely didn't tear up. When they leave, they run into their mom that was looking for them, and she drives them home. Their mom has a very boring side plot in this movie of her being at the party, realizing that she's dating someone who's way too young for her, and so she ends up talking to this dude's parents all night. And then she decides she wants to be a better mother. When they get home, Roosevelt is there, and he kisses Ren. Pain and agony is what I feel. Also, April and Aaron Burr are together. It's not really that important, but it did happen. Then at the very end, Albert posts a video of Ren doing that rap and dance from the very beginning because he snuck a camera in her lunchbox. Deserved. So that was a movie. Was it good? I don't know. It wasn't really bad. So I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. The whole time I kept thinking that the plot was really familiar, and then I was like, well, maybe it's just like a common trope, but I think it just reminds me of Superbad in a very weird way. This movie is rated PG-13 and is on Nickelodeon, so you can kind of imagine the dialogue that happens because of this, and the plots for that matter. For example, when Roosevelt gets home after leaving the party, his moms are making a like quilt of Obama. That is a very Nickelodeon type of joke. Like I can't explain how or why it is, but like if you watch Nickelodeon, you know that's inherently a Nickelodeon joke. And I'm not sure why. A mystery for another day. When I was watching this, someone in the comments on YouTube was like, why didn't she just like call the police? And that's a really good point. She technically did call the jail to see if any little boys got arrested, but I mean, I'm assuming she probably didn't call the police because then her mom would have found out. I don't know how those things kind of work, but like I feel like you would need like parental guardians to come claim your kid. Overall, there's nothing particularly interesting about this movie. but it's not bad, but I probably wouldn't rewatch it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch either of these movies, they're both on YouTube for free. If you're interested in watching another Halloween video, my sister has a video on the Nickelodeon movie Liar Liar Vampire. It's very good. She also has a new video out about Hard Eyes. It's a thriller movie. If you're interested in that, go check her out. Love her. Subscribe. That's all from me. Bye.